Good morning, guys. Fish and grits. Right now, I'm making my dad's famous ghetto gravy is what we call it in the family. But I'm kicking it up a notch. So what I did was, I cut up an onion, half an onion. It's just me eating this, so this is kind of a good amount. But, I'm giving away my dad's secret. Sort of. The only difference is I'm kicking it up a notch because he actually would put it in the microwave and achieve the same result. But I wanted it to retain its color and texture. So what I did was, this has some parsley flakes, dry parsley, and salt-free lemon pepper because the fish is going to be a good seasoning component, okay? So this is red pepper, this is onions, and tomato, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of soy and a little bit of cornstarch to thicken this up. And also this is a little olive oil, but see, just a little capful of soy, okay? You don't need a lot, just a little bit. It adds a nice amount of flavor and salt. That's why I didn't put any salt in this, okay? Then I'm going to put a little cornstarch to thicken this up. This is our ghetto gravy. This goes on top of grits when we have our fish and grits, okay? You can put whatever oil, you know, canola, vegetable. I guess you could even do coconut. Like whatever oil you like the taste of, do it, okay? And it smells really good. I'm about to take this out. What you don't want mush. You still want it to retain, the texture of the vegetables. And it has, you can use whatever color bell pepper on hand. Onion and tomato, okay? Now my dad would add tomato paste. I do not have tomato paste. You could add ketchup. I don't really feel like adding ketchup today. I'm not in that mood. But you could add a little squirt of tomato paste. And I'm just going to add a little bit of cornstarch. Okay, so this is as much cornstarch I'm going to add. I'm just going to add it to the flour right here on the side. Okay, you don't need a lot. Just a little bit to make a slurry. I'm going to add a little bit of a 1/4 cup of water. Just a little bit at a time, okay? Just a little bit. And let it cook off. And then... So it's a little gravy, but it's a light gravy, okay? This is our ghetto gravy. Now, you can make this in a microwave, in a bowl. You know, you put all your contents together. You can do it how you want. I like to do it on the stove top, okay? And see how it's thickening up? But you don't want it you don't want it a thick gravy. It's going to go with your grits. And to me, with the tomatoes, it's already adding a good amount of flavor, okay? Now, what you can do with your tomatoes, you can make sure you have the flesh of the tomato without the seeds. If you want to, you know, take the seeds out, you can add a little bit of jalapeno if you want more of a kick. You can put, definitely put a little cheese in your grits. Okay, I'm just using a quick 5-minute grits because it's just me. And this is not brunch, but this is just a quick Saturday throw together. I'm going to turn the heat off because this is done. And I'm going to put this in a bowl, okay? So this is, I would have made more, like if I was making it for brunch with girlfriends or for family. You can also add a little bit of fresh herb. But because I put soy, you don't want to add salt. You know, when you fry chicken, fish, shrimp, whatever, your salt component is really with the actual protein that you're eating. Or you could even do, I guess, maybe fried mushrooms if you wanted to do a vegetarian take. But this is just the gravy. It's a little bit of oil, but it's going to adhere really nice with the grits. So this is what you want. So use a good oil. I would say avocado or olive oil, but you have your vegetables and you want it to retain the color and you want it to retain the texture. Now this is my 5-minute grits, okay? It looks a little like thick, but that's what you want. You want thick grits. You don't want loose grits. Because we're doing ghetto gravy, is what our family calls it. That's gonna loosen up when you add those vegetables on it. I can add a little bit of water, you know, if I want to, just to kind of loosen it. And then I can add some cheese and butter, you know, but no seasoning, guys, because you're gonna season your fish. So today is fish and grits day, guys. So this is the piece of fish that I'm using to fry, okay? So this is it's called swai, if I'm saying it right. I'm gonna cut it down the middle. It's a nice piece of fatty fish. I actually had frozen fish and I let it thaw in a container with ice cold water. And now that I've made my grits and my gravy, I'm gonna go ahead and fry this up. But I'll go ahead and show you what I'm gonna use. So I'm just gonna do my favorite, which is salt-free lemon pepper. That's the Target brand. Some parsley flakes and a little bit of the Seafood Magic by Chef Paul. And then I'm also gonna use this New Orleans style fish fry breading mix. It already has a little seasoning in it. So that's why I'm not putting a lot of seasoning on this. It is gonna be good. Okay, so I went ahead and seasoned the fish, you know, just some lemon pepper, some parsley, and some of the Chef Seafood Magic by Chef Paul, okay? And I put I like using freezer bags. I put some flour there. I'm just gonna dump it in. This mix is already, it's already seasoned, so you don't need a whole lot of seasoning, but I would always say, add a little bit of seasoning, okay? Excuse the mess. Just gonna do it like that. Okay, so my oil is getting hot, as you can see. I put a mixture of avocado and olive oil. I didn't put a lot of oil because, as you can see, it's just 2 pieces of fish, okay? So really what you wanna do is make sure you put enough, you know, flour in there, and try to avoid having wet hands. I'm just gonna drop it in, you know, take your time, be careful. You see? And I'm gonna crank up the heat a little bit because I have it on medium low, so I'm putting it on like 2. Okay, but you want it to fry nice, and I guess you could say slow. This is fish. Fish doesn't take long to cook. Okay, but be careful with your hands. I'm used to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and let this cook. And I turned up the eye a little bit because you want it hot. You know, you want it to be nice and hot. It's just me, so this is a meal enough for 1 or 2 people. But this is 1 big piece of fish. And then I have a spoon here that I'll use to flip like this, a spoon like this. I gotta rinse it off. But yeah, so I'll be back to show you how it looks as it starts to fry and once you start to flip it over. So I cranked the heat up just a tad because I wanted it to fry. Because it's not a lot of oil, you want to be sure to kind of move it a little bit just to ensure that it moves and it's not sticking to the pan. But with fish, you have to be very delicate with it. It fries really nice, but just take your time. Also, some key tips to note as you cook. Clean as you cook, okay? I rinse my cutting board, you know, rinsing things off, okay? I just gotta rinse that off. I put my seasonings out. You know, a lot of times you just don't want to have to do all that cleaning after you're done. You know, you want to be able to just enjoy your food and rinse your plate off. So yeah, I'm gonna put this over in another, I'm gonna set the timer for about 2 minutes and then I'm gonna flip it, okay? So I did turn my eye down to about a 1. That would be like a medium low. Take your time when you're flipping, hold the handle, okay? Sometimes my day used to take like 2 forks to flip, okay? So take your time. Make sure that, you know, I kind of move it over a little bit. But you need a good crust on the bottom, okay? And you're gonna take your time and you'll flip. See how nice and crusty that is? That's what you want for fish and grits. You want it to be a nice crust. And don't be alarmed by the little browning on there. That's why I turned the eye down. But fish is very delicate, okay? Sometimes you gotta manipulate it a little bit. So as you can see, I kind of messed up a little bit there. So that's why the pan needs to be just as hot. And once it's ready to move, you kind of move it a little bit and get the hang of it. So even though these are quick grits, I decided to add a little bit more water to make it a little bit more velvety. And I just added some butter and I let it come to a boil. Then I put it on a simmer. And then you just want to keep mixing it in to get the clumps out. And you make it to the texture that you like. If you like a thick grit, then you put less water. But you don't want to add too much water because you have your Gatto gravy that's going to thin it out. So this is just going to stay nice and hot until I'm ready to assemble my dish. And this is the fish here. Fish don't take long. I'll probably give it another minute or two. And then I'll show you how it looks. So I have my heat on really low at this point. I'm probably going to take it off. This side of the fish is a little bit more thinner. So this is ready. I flipped it over one more time. But this is ready, okay? So I'm just going to let it drain a little bit here. I put a wire rack and some paper towel. You put it right on top. Get the excess oil. This one I kind of, messed up a little bit. But technically, you want to add a little bit more oil. I just didn't want a lot because I knew I wasn't cooking a lot of fish. If I was making it for, family or friends, I would have had to have more oil in this pan so that it could easily, flip. But that's okay. It's still going to be delicious. So I'll be back to show you the final result. So I added a little cheese, to let it melt. And I just mix it in. It gives it a nice creamy, I took the, I'll put it back over here where it's not as boiling. But when you fry, you just want to make sure that you move the oil, like the pan, off the eye that you had it on because it'll still cook. See? And so this is my grits here. So I can go ahead and assemble my plate. This is the plate I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. So that way you can see what it looks like. Take a little bit of grits. I'll be right back. Okay, so I just put some creamy grits on top with the Gatto gravy. Now my dad, he really gives it the good stuff, okay? This is my version, but I took his classic recipe. The only difference is he'll add Worcestershire, or what's this here sauce, soy, ketchup, he adds all kinds of stuff. I just wanted to keep it simple. It depends on what you're doing. My dad's big on salmon croquettes, fried fish, you name it. But this is real velvety and creamy. And considering I only use frozen fish and I use 5-minute quick grits, you can make it look gourmet. You see how velvety that is? There's a little bit of cheese, not too much. And it's gonna be good. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, Octavia's Palace. Please like and comment on this post and let me know what you like to eat your shrimp. What you like to eat your grits with. Okay, see you guys in the next video. Okay, one final thing to note, I added some hot sauce. So you can, if you like heat, add your hot sauce. And definitely if when you taste this and you make it, you can add a little salt if you want, just a pinch to taste. But be very careful of your seasoning because the fish has enough seasoning, okay? And you eat it together. All right, guys, thanks for watching.